One. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jordan Garber Now podcast. We have none other than Will Allday on the program. Will, great to be with you, man.
Hey, good to be here, Jordan. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you on. And you definitely had quite the journey in professional wrestling, appearing on WWE and Impact, but you had some of the best training development programs anyone could ask for. And that was being with Booker T and Reality of Wrestling. And, when it comes to that, do you feel overwhelmed getting that sort of development, that sort of coaching, or is that something you kind of just soaked in like a sponge?
No, I mean, that's exactly what I shot for. That's exactly what I was looking for. I've been an athlete my whole life, so I've always, played at an elite level in sports, whether that be baseball, basketball, football. I played football in college at a D1 college, and so that's just kind of how I was wired. My whole family's been athletes and pro athletes, and it's just been ingrained in us from when we were young. So it was just another day in the life for me. But not being in the wrestling world my whole life, it was definitely cool. It was definitely very, very cool to be trained by somebody and mentored by somebody that I grew up watching.
Definitely. What were those few fundamentals that you can just remember learning for the first time that you'll never forget, just like riding a bike or something?
Man, well, he's got guys underneath him that really do the day-to-day stuff, and they teach you the techniques and the fundamentals. He's at such an elite level that he doesn't waste his time there, and really he doesn't really do a whole lot of that. He does more of the psychological aspects. He does the stuff to give you the seasoning to your steak. He puts that little extra cherry on top of your sundae. And so that's awesome to have, because I didn't go into this wanting to do this for fun or just because I loved it. I wanted to do this to get to that top level. I wanted to be, a pro athlete, and, main event WrestleMania. I wanted to be, on top of the card everywhere I go. And so if I was going to do that, I was going to do it right. And there's no place better than Reality of Wrestling and Booker T's, and that's where I started. I've been doing this now for 2 years and some change, and hopefully this roller coaster ride keeps going up.
2 years, two major promotions, man. That's absolutely unbelievable, and that's why you picked the best school. You get what you put in, and I want to say good on you for that. And after training, building up that chemistry and learning for the first time, working in front of crowds, different kinds, whether that's children, bars, pubs. It's amazing, and that kind of explains your experience with championship wrestling from Hollywood and Wrestle Circus to start things out. Man, how was that for you just to start out? What a great foundation to begin at.
Yeah, I mean, they're both awesome promotions, and like you said, two completely different atmospheres. That whole Wrestle Circus thing was such a wild ride. It was so fun. I got in right at the end before they kind of shut up shop, but it was something that I definitely needed, something I needed to dip my toe in before I started getting to all these bigger promotions. And I'm glad that I got to get in front of some elite talent there. And Booker T and Reality of Wrestling really helped shape me and get me ready for TV, to where when I went to Championship Wrestling for Hollywood or Primetime Live or the United Wrestling Network over on the West Coast, that I was completely ready to be in front of the camera. Like, this is at the end of the day a job. This is at the end of the day like your career, and this is how you make a living. And if you want to do this traveling from city to city, just going to these shows because you love it, that's great, and that's your prerogative. But I want to do this on TV, and so that's the place to be, is Reality of Wrestling here in Texas. And then on the West Coast with Dave Marquez, that's the place to be. And so I want to really refine my skills and my techniques, and there are no better places to do it than those.
That's awesome, man. And when you talk about like working in front of TV and in front of crowd? Like, how's the adjustment in terms of like learning different camera angles, reacting to that, hot spots, being, what is it? Oh, when I was roughing, what was it called? Oh my God, I can't believe you have to, I don't know. I totally blanked out. Hard cam, something about the hard
Ye-
cam. Yeah, you got to face the
Well,
hard
yeah,
cam, all those
the hard cam
adjustments.
is something you are always working if you're working on a TV show, but you can't neglect the roaming cams around you as well. And so if you're just working a show without TV, you're really working for the crowd most of it, and so you're making everything look big and embellished. And then when you have these TV cameras, you don't have to be so big and embellish so much because you need the little nuances that come off well on TV, and that's facials, that's you know doing the right things in the right positions. And so it's small changes, but it makes a huge difference when you're watching somebody who knows what they're doing on TV.
Absolutely. Let's talk about styles here. When you go down to the UK, it's definitely a culture shock. But like, compare UK style to US style. Was that something that you had a little trouble with, or is that something you just caught on with right away? Bang.
Not really, because my training, they did a really good job of kind of making sure you were ready for anything, and they made sure that no matter what type of style you were working and what opponent you were working, that you could mesh. And that's something I've worked on really hard, is making sure that I can do anything with anybody. That I kind of pride myself on that, and being able to brawl and being able to do lucha and fly high and then be technical. And I want to be so well rounded that I can have a good match with anybody. And Booker T does a good job of giving me that foundation, but it's up to us when we go out there to really put that into our matches and whatnot. And so that's something that I'm very cognizant about.
When you have an amazing mentor and coach like Booker T, it's amazing. But when you have a promotion that you're working with as well, and you see it build from the bottom to amazing heights, like them partnering with Impact Wrestling, and you being a part of that for one night. Sorry, I cut out there. What was that experience like for you?
That's right.
Sorry, what's that?
It was just another day in the life, man. It was just another day in the life. It was a whole new roster coming in, and you know, trying to show that they were the better roster. And I think at the end of the day, we showed that that wasn't the case. The case was that we could hold our own with anybody. We just needed that platform. And so we are appreciative of Impact helping get some more eyes on us. But reality wrestling has some of the best talent around. It's just they are not as well known because they're not on as big of a platform as Impact and haven't been around as long. But I know that a lot of our top guys, Gino Medina, Rex Andrews, Ryan Davidson, Cam Cole, they all could work at any of these top companies and promotions all over the world, and wouldn't lose a step. They're top tier guys, and that's what Booker does, is he produces top talent. And so when we went there, we showed that we belong at that level.
Awesome stuff, man. Definitely, and it shows, that's for sure. When it comes down to let's cover WWE there quickly. It's a very rare situation for like an enhancement talent to basically, be put over a little bit, and not just that, but be a part of like a milestone wrestling moment. What was like for you getting that call at that time? Having that little extra advantage over the others.
That was actually that was pretty surreal, because that was only a handful of months into me wrestling, into my career. And so, I didn't know it was going to come that quickly. And,
Lots of
you know, it,
texts.
it, and it was in Houston, my hometown. It was in the Toyota Center. And so not only were the people that I've known my whole life watching, or even in the crowd, but, people all around the world were watching, millions of people. And, that's something very surreal, because you get into this business, or at least I did, to do that, to be on that show, to be on Monday Night Raw, to be with WWE. And so, even that little kernel, it gave me a little taste of something I knew I wanted. And, once I tasted it, I knew that that's exactly where I wanted to be. And so, like I said, Booker does a really good job getting us prepared for stuff like that. One of the sayings he always has is the best form of luck is preparation, and you better be you me. I was absolutely prepared. There were no nervous butterflies in me. There were excited butterflies because I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And, it was my time to capitalize on my opportunity, and, I'll be back.
With all the work around, there's so much going on, and you are definitely have an eye on by many major promotions. A lot of people have their eyes on you, and that kind of comes to my next question in terms of goals and future plans that you have. Where do you want to see yourself? Do you want to be in Japan? You want to be in Europe? Like, obviously everyone wants to go to WWE, but let's always think outside the box. Like, there's a lot of amazing places in Europe, like Germany, Amsterdam, all those places. Where are like three places that you just want to cover?
Well, I definitely want to go to Japan. I think that would be very, very cool because being an athlete my whole life, I do really enjoy the sport based wrestling there. And, with a lot of this empty arena TV tapings that we've had to do during this quarantine stuff, a lot of the guys have to kind of do more sport based style because there is no crowd to play off of. You're just working the cameras and you're just working in that ring with your opponent. And so to me, I haven't missed a beat because I feel at home doing something like that. And I think Japan is the perfect place to also emulate that. Um, Another place I think, around the world, I think Mexico would be pretty cool because those fans are so like rowdy and crazy and they love their lucha. And I think that I could seamlessly fit into doing something like that. And, I'd love to go back to England because, that's where most of my family's from. And I love the culture over there. I love the passion for wrestling over there. I love the chanting that they do. It's definitely something that makes um, it makes a lot of the shows. A lot of those fans come over for WrestleMania and the night after WrestleMania and the big NXT shows, and you see like the difference in the crowd when there are those types of fans there.
We always like to do a top three here on the Jordan Garber Now podcast, and that top three will be of me asking top three road trip experiences. Like, where are three places that you love to go down for a road trip to perform in front of a crowd?
Well, I love going to Los Angeles, and that's because that's Hollywood. That's a silver screen, and that's where people are people go to be stars. And so I love doing that. I've been to Chicago, and the fans there, no matter what sport they're supporting, are always pretty crazy. And then again, I loved going to the UK. I love those fans. I love the passion and the energy they give the performers.
Awesome, man. Where can people follow you on social media, whether they're listening all the way here from Canada, United States, or India, anywhere?
You can follow me at any of the social medias or YouTube. My handle is at I am Mr. Allday. Again, my name is Will Allday. I'm about to put up a merch shop. It's IamMrAllday.com. And so, you just got to remember that one handle. It's pretty easy. I use the same thing for everything. So if you're looking for me, then, that's the place to go.
Awesome, man. Will Allday on the Jordan Garber Now podcast. Well, thanks for being on the show.
Hey, thanks, Jordan.